Hello guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back in another video, and with Barry grappling with the death of the Speed Force and his own weakening powers, his oldest foe returns by taking over Nash's body. So can Cecile's Ouija board and garlic get Thawne out of there? Probably not. Well, at least not those ways. But this episode was pretty good, honestly. Great even. At least for an episode that doesn't move the needle all that much on the big story, which we still don't really know much about, because we don't even know who the main villain is of this back half of the season, or graphic novel too. But we learned last week that Nash had been taken over by the Reverse Flash, aka Eobard Thawne, and this week was all about trying to exorcise that monster out of his head. After doing a bit of MacGuffin science, the team figures out that Thawne's takeover is seemingly related to all the visions Nash has been having in the recent weeks of the now-dead multiversal versions of Wells. And when the crisis occurred, all those consciousnesses that, say that 5 times fast, 10 times fast, that'd be even harder. But all of them were apparently channeled into Nash, since he was the only Wells left once the universes merged. And exactly how Thawne got in there, since he's not technically a Wells and instead just assumed the face and identity years back, is still a bit of a mystery. But it does explain why Nash has been seeing all the former versions of Wells these past few weeks. It also means for favorite variants like Harry are apparently still alive, so to speak, inside Nash's mind. So all hope's not lost, and they could potentially return sometime down the line. But as for Thawne, though, he's feeding on Nash's fear, sadness, and basically all of his emotions to take control of his body. And the more he takes control, the closer he gets to tapping into his homemade Speed Force, which isn't dead either. And if he does that, Barry would be almost powerless to stop him. So Barry, Cisco, and Cecile mind meld with Nash to figure out exactly what dark secret is keeping him trapped in his mind. Turns out it's the tragic death of his former protege, the doppelganger of Allegra, which explains why he's been so invested in getting to know her in this new reality. Nash trained her in how to be a treasure hunter like him, but on one of their missions, she accidentally falls to her death, and she dies, and, Nash has a big fear about that, I guess, because she was trying to recover an artifact, and she was just doing exactly as he had taught her, and Nash has always blamed himself, and Thawne is holding that against him as he's too afraid to face that memory. But Cisco talks Nash down and convinces him he'll never be able to heal and move forward if he doesn't face that memory and accept his role in her death. So eventually he does, and finally manages to take back control enough to force Thawne out into a massive red lightning storm. So Thawne is officially exorcised, but the looming big bad is still out there, seemingly looking for a new body to possess. So next time, maybe we won't see him looking like a Wells. Maybe he'll be in his normal body next time. But as for the metahuman of the week case, Team Flash and the CCPD are working to stop a new thief working for Black Hole named Sunshine. And this villain or character is actually the very first Arrowverse original character. So this character was not inspired by anything from the comics. It was completely created just for this show. So that's pretty cool. So Barry's powers fail him, and Sunshine ends up escaping. So he has to come up with a plan as Barry Allen to stop her, working with Joe to set a trap. And it's a good arc for Barry to show he's grown enough to be confident he can still do some good even if he's not the Flash. Though 6 seasons in, we've seen those story beats before, and it's still good stuff, but it has the potential to get redundant quickly. Thankfully not there yet. But Looking back to Mirrorland, the real Iris is still trapped behind the glass as Mirror Iris steals a piece of tech for Eva. She's also turned Allegra into a mirror version to serve as a henchman for her. But what is Eva's endgame? Like, she's basically Mirror Master, and we still don't know what her plan is. But thanks to Wally tipping him off, Joe is clearly starting to realize that something is off about Iris, and her mission to acquire mirror tech is getting in the way of the life priorities of the real Iris. So hopefully they put that together soon, because Iris has been sidelined for a long while at this point, to be honest. But there was an Easter egg in this episode. When Thawne briefly escapes, he makes a run for the old time machine based on Rip Hunter's designs. So it was cool to see that that's still hanging around in this new Earth Prime. But looking ahead, Barry also gets a break in his attempt to make his own version of the Speed Force to replace the real one, much as Thawne did. And Nora's journal is still in the archive, and she was mentored by Thawne in the future. And during that time, Thawne apparently revealed some of his Speed Force secrets that were written down in her journal. So hopefully Nora's legacy can help get the super speedster back on track. But next episode, which we're taking another week-long break, so we're not getting this episode until April 7th, because of we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, so it's delayed virtually everything on TV and film and stuff like that. So there's only a few episodes that The Flash has stored and ready to go. So they're trying to make it last as long as they can. So that's why the CW has opted to delay the next new episode of The Flash for a few weeks. So that episode, though, looks to find Barry in the last gasps of his super speed. So will he lose his super speed and no longer be the Flash forever? Doubt it, but I guess it's possible. But anyway, what did you think about this episode? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video so I can bestow all my DC